Wayne Gretzky said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." A few years ago, I had a once-in-a-lifetime encounter, and I froze. Actually, if the me watching the me this was happening to recalls correctly, I did not completely freeze. There was some yelling and whining and some minor cussing. I remember several frickety fracks and son of a bucks, and I think there was even a good gravy thrown in there. But the shot, well, this is the story of the shot I didn't take. I got home late one evening in July of 2021. Oreo, my whoopsie doodle of a dog, was sniffier than usual walking to the house. I noticed some trails through the weeds, and the geranium plant by the step was all squished down. I shrugged, went inside, and went to bed, as we had an opener at 5 o'clock the following morning. I am a lifelong Eastside setnetter. I guess that's important to put this in a little perspective. My dad was born in Kenai in 1920s. Grandma was Russian Aleut, born up here in the 1890s. And my family's been fishing our site since before statehood. So back to the 2021. So my dad's friend, Herman Lindgren, used to end a visit saying, "Well, 4 o'clock comes early." If asked what he was doing at 4 o'clock, he'd say nothing, but it still comes early. Well, I had to be on the beach at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it does indeed come early. So I took Oreo out at 3:30. She was still super sniffy. Then I heard the sounds of lumber being tossed around up at my neighbor's place. I got an eerie feeling, put Oreo in the house, and figured I'd come back after set out and let her out. I drove past the shed and was climbing the hill, and 2 brown bear cubs ran across the road in front of me, followed by Mom. She stopped and looked at me, and I thought, how fortunate. How often do you get a prolonged close-up look at a bear while safely ensconced in your vehicle? My opinion of fortune swiftly soured when she charged my truck. I thought it was a bluff charge, then she smashed my grill. Plastic pieces and my Toyota emblem went skittering across the gravel. I slammed it in reverse, but between the duskiness and the sheer terror, I got cockeyed on the hill by the drop-off, and I had to stop. The sow, however, had no stop in her. She bit up the bumper, then jumped on the hood and back down again. She shoved my truck, which skidded towards the drop-off. I crammed my foot on the brake and wondered how I would explain to State Farm a rollover going 0 miles an hour. She jumped back on the hood and stood with her big old bare paws on the windshield. Like many a good Alaskan vehicle, the windshield has a full-length crack, but down low out of my field of vision. I hadn't replaced it because more rocks will fly, but sitting there, I kind of questioned the logic of that particular life choice. I was starting to think I'd be better off with a rollover than if she crashes through the windshield when she finally decided she had enough and left. I sat there stunned, barely believing what just happened. I drove forward a skosh, then back down to my driveway. I needed to check the tires as I had no idea what she'd bitten. There was no way I was stopping on the road to change a flat. So there I sat, mind racing, heart beating, and I saw it. Like a slow-mo video, I watched as my trembling hand reached for my phone to call my fishing partners and say, "I'm going to be a wee bit late for set out." I see the thought bubble form as my hand makes contact with the phone, and I realize the shot I 100% missed. The shot of a mad mama brown bear standing on my hood, mouth dripping saliva and rage as she roared at me through the windshield. Son of a biscuit. Between tides, I posted photos of my truck plus the story. A friend suggested I make it public for community safety reasons. I did, and it took off. My insurance company heard about the incident before I called them. The agent sounded downright giddy finding out I was a local. Jeff from Fish and Game called my grown-up job to get my phone number so he could come investigate. Los Alamos Search and Rescue shared the post, as did some company in the lower 48, advertising they had bear spray. Smidgy bit rude, using my trauma for their financial gain. Someone in Puerto Rico shared the story, saying it happened to her niece in Alaska, and if it was her, she would have a bearskin rug. I know no one in Puerto Rico. I've decided I will never drive a convertible. I am thankful to Toyota. Some vehicles claim to be Ram tough, while my Tacoma is Bruin brawny. It has over 240,000 miles on it. It still bears the bite marks on the bumper, and I clear-coated over the paw prints on the hood. My Toyota emblem rides on the dash. It's going to be a sad day when I have to let that truck go. It saved my life. I had to work on the beach the following day. With trepidation, I left the homestead, slinking down in the seat as I climbed the hill, as if that's going to make a red truck less conspicuous. I arrived at the beach site unscathed and told my friends, the commute was better today. Yesterday, traffic was a bear. Thank you, guys.